I want to share with you what I think are the best, most useful pentatonic shapes for soloing. And you might be familiar with these already. I call them the 3-2 or 2-3 shapes, and that's because they play an alternating pattern of 2 notes on one string, 3 notes on the next string. So depending on where you start, that pattern will look different. So I'm going to start on C, and if I start on the 6th string, I'm going to start on the note G. So I'm going to play a C major pentatonic starting on G. So I'm going to play 2 notes, G, A. On the 6th string, and on the 5th string, I'm going to play 3 notes, C, D, E. And I'm going to slide my 3rd finger into that E. So that's the basic shape, and we're going to repeat that across 3 different string sets. So here I'm on string 6, 5, and then 4 and 3, same exact pattern. And then when I go to the 2nd string, I have to move 1 fret forward because of the way that these 2 strings are tuned, a half step closer together than the rest of the strings. So I've got 3 octaves of the same exact scale pattern. And what I like about this is it brings me from G down here to this high E up here. So it spans a large range across the neck. So I think these shapes, I'll show you the other one in just a second, but I think that these shapes are super useful for soloing. I find myself using them to quickly travel across the range of the guitar. I really tend to like the sound when I'm improvising of leading up from low notes up to a big dramatic high note. So this is a great way to do that. And then you can continue improvising from there. So one note before I show the other shape is that C major and A minor are relative, major and minor. A minor is the relative minor of C major. And so what that means for pentatonics is that they share all the same notes. And for the scale, the major scale as well, they share all the same notes. So it's just a matter of making it sound like A minor versus C major is a matter of emphasizing the A more than the C. So if I do this same shape and I want to make it sound like A minor, I would kind of emphasize my A note. And I've got that in each octave. There's A again. There's A again. Versus if I emphasize the C, then I can make it sound like C major. C is here, there, and there again. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. This works for major or minor. You just have to find out. You just have to know your positions and what chord you're playing over, and where to start these shapes. So the next shape is going to start on C at the 6th string, and this time it's going to be 3 notes and then 2 notes. So it's alternating in the opposite way. There's my pattern, and then I continue it up. Again, I continue up, and because I'm going to the 2nd string, I move forward 1 fret. Oops. And again, with this shape, I can emphasize the A to make it sound like A minor. So, let's see. So, you might notice as I'm doing this, I'm sliding with particular fingers most of the time. I'm usually sliding on the way up with my 3rd finger. And on the way back down, I tend to slide with my first finger rather than my third finger, except on this top string here. Usually I find myself using my third finger to slide up and down from that one. Otherwise, I'm using my first finger to slide back. The same thing here. Third finger on the way up. First finger on the way down. So these shapes put you into the position to play some nice double stop patterns. So double stops, if you're not familiar, is just what we call when you play more than one note at the same time. And I think the term comes from violin playing. I don't know much more beyond that, but this is a double stop. So you'll notice, maybe you notice that there's two different places I'm playing double stops here in each octave. Except for that low octave, don't have enough room, but what I'm doing is playing the root note and the fifth, hammering on into the sixth of the scale. And then the other one is having the fifth on top, and then the second note hammering on into the third note of the scale. And I can do the same thing here. I can do the first one, the root and the fifth, hammering into the sixth down here. So. And then in this shape, I've got it there. On top, I've just got that one, the fifth on top, second hammering into the third. Got that one, and then that one. I've got that one and that one. So a lot of cool patterns you can do with those double stops. So the next thing I want to touch on is how to move this to different keys. So what you want to do is you want to know the chord that you're trying to play over. So let's say the song is in the key of D, and you're trying to solo, and it's a chord progression that just stays diatonically in the key of D. So it's like a 1, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 2. You can play the major pentatonic over all of those diatonic chords. So what I showed you first was the C major. So in order to move this up, I got my C. You need to know where the C's are in your pattern. And in this one, those are the C's. So if I move my pattern up, I could just move this to D. So that would be how I would play, where I would put it to play over a song in the key of D. D is relative to B minor, so this would also be good for B minor. And so then let's say another one that's kind of further away would be like G sharp or A flat minor. Let's say you're trying to find, oh no, well that's not that far away. How about like a E flat minor? You want to find E flat minor. If I look at this first shape, C and A, if I want to do a minor, I want to go off of this note, A, so I want to move that up to E flat, which is here. So I could just, if I have an E flat minor progression happening, if I want to move up to the next one, I go up to my relative major, just up to that G flat, which is the relative major of E flat minor. Move it down here. I've got this E flat here, E flat, E flat. Looks like actually when I'm playing this, just improvising, I'm actually sliding a lot on the way down with my third finger. Probably because I want that sound of the, I like the sound of the 5 sliding down into the 4 rather than, that sounds cool too, but, okay, so you can find any key, you just got to know the root notes of where you're, of the shape that you're playing, where they are located in that shape, and then target it on the chord you're looking to play or the key you're looking to play in. So if you want to practice these, try practicing them in time like this. And then, repeat that, do it with a metronome, and then change keys, try it in different locations. You don't need to do everything in all 12 keys, but it does help to do keys that are distant from each other, so like C and F sharp maybe. And that'll help you with the differences in feeling between different areas of the neck. So just a couple more things. These shapes you can use to kind of drop into different of the 5 pentatonic shapes. So if I take C major, that would be like, I don't know which number you'd call that, but these are my pentatonic shapes. So those are my 5 pentatonic shapes, and I can connect them by using these 3-2 shapes, and just kind of dropping into each one, whichever one I happen to be landing in. The value of combining this horizontal scale motion with those vertical shapes is that you're going to get more varied sound in your playing. Because if you're just always using the vertical shapes, and then you're just switching between them, but staying in them without moving around, in different areas or being creative about how you're moving between them, it can sound a little stagnant. So this is a great way that if you're experiencing any of that stagnancy from just knowing these vertical shapes, this might help you connect them together. So this is how I'm thinking about it. If I'm going up from here, C major, at this point I can go into this pentatonic shape. This would normally be, I think, shape 1 of the minor, but I'm thinking of it as C, so it doesn't matter what number or whatever you call it, but you know the one of which I speak. So I can drop off into that shape and start lines over here and slide up and then come into this shape and finish off a phrase. And then I can go back into it and climb up again. And that's, there I'm in another vertical shape. So I can span between this one this one, and that one. And then with this other one, this other 3/2 shape. Now I'm switching again to the next vertical pentatonic shape. So that is another thing to consider, is that you can kind of use this as a connective pathway to move between your standard 5 vertical pentatonic shapes. So that's all I'm going to cover regarding these scales. I think that this is worth spending some time on and trying to incorporate it into your playing and trying to improvise with. So maybe a good way to do that would be to find a backing track of some major or minor key. Find the pentatonic 3/2 shapes that are that go with that key. Something that's not like a blues pattern necessarily. You can use this over blues, but probably better to do just a straight like minor progression or a major progression and just to try this out. Always remember to play with good time feel. Try to make the notes that you play sound good. Try to create phrases when you're practicing your improvisation, and develop those phrases in sets or patterns of, say, 4, where you're sticking to kind of the same motif or the same idea, same rhythm for like 4 bars or 8 bars or something like that. That can help increase the musicality of the way that you're playing sounds. So anyway, that's all for today. I hope you have a good one. You can visit practicemakesbettermusic.com if you're not already watching there, and check out what I have going on. And until next time, bye.